Good evening, everybody. I am Valeria Esposito, and I have studied architecture in Naples, actually, and I graduated last July, last semester. And this is the work of my thesis, and the title is Living the City and Nature. As my colleagues said, the object of this thesis work is Park-am-Gleisdreieck, and more in the detail, designing a new residential area for the city of Berlin in what it is now a void left between two districts, Schöneberg and Kreuzberg, which has gradually been occupied by nature. This is the actual status of the area. And the aim of the project is determining a new open city center, in my case. Indeed, the void left between the old railway tracks gives a nice opportunity for design experimentation. And in my case, I had the opportunity to carry out with two methodological approaches. One is the project in continuity with the established city, a project which respects the ratio between streets and blocks, and where the nature is contained inside the block. And the other project is the one I carried on when I came back to Italy. It's a project of a city made by parts, which I call basic units, and which is reversing completely the ratio between full and empty spaces. And in this way, the nature becomes the defining element of the project. It is a flux, a fluid, which is defining the architecture. Well, first of all, I made a comparison by urban elements, which are nature, street, and square. In this case, in the first project, the nature is contained inside the block, while in the second one, the architectures are just disposed in a free way into the nature. While the street element is quite the same, the reason to be is maintaining some relationship with the context and then defining a border and not a limit for the street, and the blocks are just like a curtain for the street, like in the past centuries city. And then I completely reversed in the second project the concept of centrality. So the square in the first case, it is like the street which is opening. In the second project, it is the architecture itself, which is a square, a covered square. Okay, so the urban project is made, as I said before, by basic units, and then this public element in the center, which is a solitary building. And the two parks, East and West Park, are now linked because of the railway tracks which are going in the ground before the new Bülowstrasse, which is the new axis, east-west axis, which is almost completely a pedestrian area, and it is the new Bülowstrasse linking the two districts, Schöneberg and Kreuzberg. And then I defined two features for the park, more densified and less densified, and also two kind of paths and new accesses to the park. More in the detail, the densification of the area is made by linear elements and towers. So we have a strong densification of the area as the new cities, which is a must-have of the new city, but there are still strong relationship with the nature. In this case, the open courts of the buildings are having nature inside of them. And also, one of the features that today are in the park is the infrastructure, which is going through the park, and it's still remaining also into the project. More in the detail, the basic units, starting by the Redan elements, which are giving me the possibility to have a filter between the street, the new neighborhood street on the border, and then entering by big openings into the public park, and also having big curves which are open on one edge, and having a difference from the inside, which is private, and the outside, which is public. And this filter is made by sporting camps and playground area. And then a point of view on the new pedestrian area, the new Bürgerstrasse in the center, facing the covered square, and also a point of view on the infrastructure which is going through the buildings. Almost the same for the second basic units, opened courts with the private garden areas and then the public park outside. And then the possibility to enter from the south, from Yorkstrasse, which is now 4 meters below the actual park level. And then this point of view on the ramp, which is going inside the park. Then the towers, the last basic units. Towers allow me to have a strong densification of this side of the park, but not defining a border. Indeed, they completely have nature going through them. And this nature, in this point of view, is inviting people to enter the park. And in the end, the solitary building inside the nature, which is the new centrality of the park, as I said before, and it is called a plinth. A plinth is just a basement intersected by two towers, and then with a suspended hall on top for exhibitions. On the ground floor, the common walker through the park can continue his walk just going into the building and then continuing exiting, or maybe just staying into the building in the restaurant areas and commercial areas in the northern part, or maybe going elsewhere in the city in the southern part. Indeed, there is a new railway station in the underground. So this is also the occasion to have a new infrastructure link into the park, just in the middle. And then on the top, as I said before, there is a completely light element suspended on the plinth, on the basement. Also in a technical section, we can see two different technological methods of the construction, a more masonry basement and a light element in steel, which is the exhibition hall. And then a point of view on the new centrality of the park with these two towers for offices, which are facing the park. Also the opportunity for the, park users to go on the top of the plinth of the basement and have a special point of view on the park. This was the aim of the project. And in conclusion, the project is a contribution, I think, to the recent debate on the contemporary city and what it is becoming in the future. And also for the need of re-establish a relationship with between the architecture and nature. Thank you.